So growing up as a kid, you always played a lot of games with your friends, whether it's tag, hide and seek, or playing some type of sport. But what happens when kids are playing these games and something goes horribly wrong? Well, that's what we're going to talk about in this video of 8 innocent kid games that went horribly wrong. Coming in at number 8, we have the British Bulldog game, which leads to a girl's death. So the game is pretty simple. You have 1 or 2 kids who are going to be the Bulldogs stand alone in the middle of a large field. A line of runners will face them and stand at one end of the field. The runners try to get to the other side without being caught by the Bulldog. If they do get caught by a Bulldog, they turn into a Bulldog and they join the other Bulldogs. The game goes on until there is at least 1 runner left. He or she is the winner. So in February of 2013, a group of children played British Bulldog outside their junior school in England. An 8-year-old girl named Freya James played a different game close by when she was accidentally struck by one of the boys playing British Bulldog. She fell stomach down onto a recycled wooden railway sleeper. The fall caused a laceration of her liver, which led to internal bleeding. She was taken to the hospital where she later died. Coming in at number 7, we have the snowball fight that turns into a race brawl. So Cole Harbour District High School is located in the province of Nova Scotia. Back in the winter of 1989, what started as a playful snowball fight between groups of grade 10 boys turned ugly as white students ended up fighting black students in a vicious brawl. Apparently the brawl was triggered when a particularly large snowball showered one group with snow. Krista Weber, a grade 10 student at the time who witnessed the brawl, said she saw a student's face split open from a punch and students getting kicked when they fell to the ground. In the aftermath, 14 were charged and the brawl led directly to the government of Nova Scotia. Coming in at number 6, we have Dodgeball leads to a felony. One of my favorite games to play growing up. You use a ball to eliminate players on the opposing team by hitting them with the ball. Now for Jacob and one other student, that simple game turned into something much more ugly and much more complicated. The result was a facial fracture and a criminal complaint against Jacob. According to the victim, who was 16 at the time, when Jacob ran out of balls, Jacob closed his fist and punched him in the face. When interviewed by police, Jacob, who was 18, said that he thought the other boy was going to tackle him, then he punched him in the face. Months later, Jacob ended up pleading guilty to misdemeanor battery. He was sentenced to 1 year probation and ordered to pay more than $1,300 in fines. Coming in at number 5, we have hide and seek leads to a dead body. So who hasn't played hide and seek? Whether you play with your friends, your family, is a very classic game. Back in October of 2017, 2 kids were playing hide and seek in a wooded area of a park in Indiana. There, in the midst of their bit of fun, one of them came across a dead body of 30-year-old Christopher Bradley. The kids immediately told an adult, who then alerted the police. But it's safe to say that those kids are probably going to be scarred for life from discovering that dead body. Coming in at number 4, we have the Salt and Ice Challenge Burns. So most childhood games have long histories and countless hours of enjoyment. Kids and teens today have a new source for things to do in the pass of time, like TikTok. Unfortunately, TikTok, that was created in 2016, has created something where people like to do a lot of internet challenges that they see on there. I'm sure you guys heard of a lot of them, like the Cinnamon Challenge or the Tide Pod Challenge, and there's one called the Salt and Ice Challenge. So an Iowa woman learned about the last challenge the hard way after her horrific late night phone call. Her daughter and several friends had tried an internet challenge that involved putting snow and table salt on their arm to see who could stand it the longest. Now, the ice and the salt formed a chemical reaction that induced frostbite, giving the girl and her friends 2nd and 3rd degree burns. Which goes to show you that you really have to watch your kids when they go on TikTok or any social media platform and they do these stupid challenges. They can really get themselves hurt, sometimes even killed. So you have to be careful. Number 3, we have choking game claims life of a 12-year-old boy. So according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, from 1995 to 2007, at least 82 kids have died playing the choking game. 87% of them were boys aged 11 to 16, the average age being 13. Now the point of the game is to go just far enough to get the high that follows after briefly squeezing off the supply of oxygen. The game has a long history and also goes by many names like the Pass Out Challenge, Flatliner, and Space Monkey. Now I never heard of this game until I looked it up, and apparently someone has to choke you, whether it's with their hands or some type of item, choke you just enough to where you can feel a high and you're supposed to get some good sensation out of that. But one boy who went too far was Eric Robinson of California. One day in April of 2010, he put a rope around his neck and hung himself from a pull-up bar, and he was only 12 years old. His devastated mother, Judy, found her son collapsed in the kitchen doorway. She tried to undo the complicated slip knots her son did. By the time she got help, it was too late. In the wake of her tragedy, the mother actually tried to help and educate other kids about the dangers of the game. Number 2, we have sack tapping game leads to testicle removal. So one night, a 14-year-old boy named David Gibbons woke his mother up at 1 a.m. complaining of groin pain. Apparently, he had been playing a game called sack tapping, and he played it with some of his friends at school that day. One boy punched him in the testicles so hard that it was still hurting badly. His mother took him to the hospital where the doctors removed the boy's right testicle. And the mom said this may be called a game, but it's not a game. It's dangerous and it needs to stop. And then coming in at number 1, we have the hot dog eating contest that turns fatal. So Owen Houston, who is 7 years old of Naples, was doing the Nathan's famous hot dog challenge. In January of 2010, the Boys and Girls Club of California held a fundraiser for Haiti relief. One of the activities was a hot dog eating game. Unfortunately, the fun turned deadly when one of the participants, 13-year-old Noah Thomas, started choking. A male staff member performed a Heimlich maneuver, but it didn't help. Paramedics arrived soon and tried to remove the obstructed piece of food using an extended pair of forceps. Unfortunately, they were unsuccessful and Noah later died in the hospital. Apparently, a staff member of the Boys and Girls Club did tell each child participating in the hot dog game to take their time and that it was not based on speed. The Los Angeles Police Department did investigate, and they indicated that the initial investigation suggests that the children were appropriately supervised. That goes to show you that even when kids are playing the simplest games or doing the simplest activities, you really have to keep an eye on them because no matter what, things could always go horribly wrong if you're not careful. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and make sure you guys come back for future videos because I'll be posting more just like it.